What's up, everybody? Clint Esposito here, along with Steve Sommerfeld. And
Yo, how's it going, buddy?
very good. And we're going to watch round two of Night of the Jumps 2025 from Dresden, Germany.
Oh yeah, that was a big old competition. Um, Bigger and better than I thought it would be, which
It
is
was. It
awesome,
was
actually.
pretty awesome with Pat Bowden, Luke Akerman, Marco Pignol, Zapsa FMX. There was a bunch of
Yeah,
guys there. It turned out being a good one.
yeah, t- and Libor, man,
Oh,
Libor is on fire. Libor Podmol has to be like the longest serving Night of the Jumps rider, and he's still going after he basically retired 4 years ago. Went and did 3 years of Dakars in Saudi, and he's back on a freestyle bike and killing it.
well, he premieres, which we're going to show you here. He does do a little Dakar bike
Oh, well, that was lucky I brought that up right now, then, huh?
shenanigans.
What a perfect segue. Oh, it's almost like we haven't planned it, or at least I didn't know that you'd planned it right now. Very good. I'm going to pat myself on the back.
Oh, we're straight. I thought this was he did a straight jump, but yeah, he flips it, and I believe he comes back around for another. See, he's one more. That's not enough. Just a straight
That's it.
backflip on the Dakar bike is not enough for Libor Podmol.
And I think even there, like, just the just when I watched him do the first jump, the straight jump, I'm like, man, that's 190 kilograms. That's what, 400 pounds? Something like that.
You could
Like,
tell it was heavy by the way he bounced on the landing.
yeah. And like just to jump the thing, just to have the right speed for the ramp. And then as you see here, out comes the old claver, the old flip levers on a 190 kilo bike with something like 35 liters of fuel. I don't know how many liters.
Do you think he had it filled to the top?
No, I think he was running like 2 liters. But still, um, that's an impressive kiss of death flip on any bike. Not to mention off of his Dakar, I think it's a Husqvarna Dakar bike, which he rode in the desert of Saudi Arabia. And man, most guys can't even do a KOD flip that big at X Games.
Most guys can't even
Oh,
jump
Jesus.
those.
Whoa, that came out of nowhere. Sorry.
Most guys can't even jump one of those bikes anyway.
No, exactly. Except the dudes who are actually flying at like 150 kilometers per hour through the desert over dunes, no idea what's coming up on the other side, and they just fully pinned. I don't know how Libor does it, to be honest. And when I first heard Libor was going to Dakar, I was like, Libor? Like, you mean freestyle motocross Libor? There must be another Libor Podmol in Czech Republic who's doing this. I didn't I didn't think he would do it, and he got, I think, 30, 31st or 32nd on his first ever year at Saudi in the Dakar race.
How many people are in
Unbelievable.
Dakar?
35. No, no, I don't know, like a whole bunch, maybe a couple of hundred, few hundred.
That's awesome.
And like most people don't finish.
Yeah.
So to one, just to finish the thing, and to two, be that high up is bloody impressive. So yeah,
Especially
there
on
you
your
go.
first try when you haven't been doing that stuff your whole life.
Yeah, what's he been doing? Underflips and
Yeah.
vaults and whatever else he was doing. Like that's not exactly training for Dakar.
Foam is really close to real deep sand.
There you go. So maybe he did have the perfect upbringing. Maybe there's a whole bunch of freestyle riders ready to go to Dakar.
Let's get them lined
No, I'm
up.
not going back in another foam pit. Screw that.
All right, so we're going to move right on to the first qualifier with Zapsa FMX.
All right. So Zapsa, this is his second only competition on the four-stroke. We saw him in Munich about a month ago or something, 2 months ago, and he was just getting used to that 450. Spent, I think like you, like I spent my whole life riding a two-stroke, and when you go onto the four banger, it's just even to get the speed for the jump is already a pain in the ass, really.
Well, it
But
just
I
seems
mean, check,
different because
yeah,
the motor feels wound up. Like a two stroke only gets tight like that when it's wound up, and a 450 feels tight the whole time. So you're like, I'm
all the
surely
way.
wide open, and there's like half
Yeah,
more throttle to go.
yeah. You got 8,000 more revs to go before you peak it out. No, so Zapsa first rider up, and unfortunately the dead sailor flip.
Not what he
So it
wanted, I would
wasn't
assume.
not the best way to start. But this was a different event for Night of the Jumps. Like this is in a football stadium. The run ups, as you can see, are longer than they need to be. Um, I mean, even the landing there, he just was sliding just because he could. Normally, at a Night of the Jumps, you've got 30 foot of
Right.
run off and there's a wall. So it almost looks like he was just enjoying the space. Heel clicker flip. I
Yeah, he
mean,
went
not too
no-handed
bad.
flip into a heel clicker flip. Everything's looking good other than just that, like you said, that first one where he didn't get exactly what he wanted out of it.
Yeah. So we had three landing options and a whole bunch of ramps. Nice, good over.
Very nice.
So yeah, you kind of got that one landing that you just saw him jump there. There's an 8 meter and a next gen onto that one, so it's wedged up. It's 5.5 meter high landing. Then you got to come back to these two on both sides. KOD flip. So the landing is higher in the middle that he's about to go to. And for that, we made that Euro ramp like it's wedged up
Oh,
probably 10, 15 centimeters
I was gonna
just to
ask
give
that.
them, yeah, just to give the guys that little extra pop to get over it. Otherwise, they nearly would skim the
Yeah.
safety and land on the bottom or something. Um,
And then you
but
don't
you
really
can
have as much fall to do tricks because a lot of that
exactly,
you pull a lot off in that fall. A lot of times people will go deep just to give yourself an extra like tenths of a second.
yeah, that's it. And like, if I haven't said it before, I'm sure I've said it before. I always went long because it didn't matter what happened at the top of the landing, so I always got the fall. Nice knack flip.
Nice knack flip. He's a knuckle rider like I was. I would always be all the way up top from my
Yeah,
metal from the metal landing days. You had to.
oh, man, that was why I didn't go at the knuckle because of the metal landings. I'm like, nope. I'd rather overshoot this thing than deal with a knuckle. All right, so flip levers up. This would be the double up. So not a bad run from Zapsa, but you
All
can tell
flips.
he's, yeah, pretty much. Wait, was there an upright?
No,
Heel clicker to super flip. So that was his first ever heel clicker to super flip. I think even maybe to dirt or to a landing. Yeah,
nice.
did he not do an upright trick?
It was straight backflip, no-handed backflip, knack flip, Cordova flip,
Yeah.
heel clicker to super flip.
Oh crap. I didn't even realize. There you go.
Zaps has gotten the hang of getting that four-stroke upside down, I say.
Yeah, maybe he was treating this like a bit of a training run, like just put more hours in and like just more repetition on getting those flips on that 450. Um, yeah, I mean, unfortunately for him, that first jump set the tone, and he was the first rider up. There's always a lot of pressure. It was a hot day there, and then this man right now, Mark Pignol. We'll show a little bit later on why he had a little bit of stress coming into this event. Um, so Mark actually told me he will do the best he could in quali, but he's not going to do his big tricks. He had something pretty freaking big coming up
Uh,
after the break,
and it
and
makes
he's like,
sense now that knowing afterwards, because I didn't know this going in. but I was like, he seems a little bit off, but now I realize he had his focus on something else.
Yeah, exactly. He knew that well before, like a week before, 2 weeks before. He just told me, he's like, I'll do the best I can in quali, but it's not going to be the big tricks. He's like, if it's enough to get to the final, then I will send it. But I've got one big job I need to do first. But I mean,
Nice
to
no
start
footy
his run,
knack.
huge flatliner, like that's huge.
He was running the one flip lever.
I did see that actually. Bar solid, seat grab solid, whatever you want to call
Was
that
it, or
one.
did his left hand go straight to the seat?
I thought he went seat grab first.
The way his hand came out.
Maybe he didn't. Maybe it was a sneaky holy grab, but I didn't realize. Uh, Front flip. So, as you said, like you didn't realize, and probably I didn't mention it to you before, what he was up to. Like, you can kind of tell. Normally, he's pretty quick getting around the course. This time, he was definitely, taking his time, making sure he at least just had the tricks he was going to do lined up. Big Indy to Indy flip. That was huge. Caught over flip. Fraction short. You could see that little bit of a bounce from the knuckle, but not too bad. And this is going towards, so this is the next gen. So the first rider to hit the next gen held the KOD for a long time. Oh, I've lost you. I can't hear you, Clint. I don't know if everyone else can hear you, but I can't. All right, Pignol with a big tsunami scorpion style. Have I got you there, Clint? Are you back? Nope, you're out. Don't worry, mate. I'll take care of it. You figure out your audio. Nope, you're not there. So that was the regular run from Mark. And
Hello.
then obviously,
I'm
yeah,
back.
there we go. You're back. You're back. And now it's time for the double up. That's the one thing that came like the night of the jumps thing is they have their regular run. At the end of the run, they have a bit of time for their best trick. And here we go. Best trick from Pignol. Indy front flip. I think that's the first time we've seen that from Pignol. Did he do that in Munich? Ah, he wasn't in Munich.
There you
Ah,
go. He didn't do
there
it
you
there.
go. There you go.
I was wondering why. I was like, he keeps talking while I'm talking. It doesn't seem like he can hear me.
Nope. Sorry.
So that was still a good run, but normally I feel like he'd throw more than one front flip and probably a varial or something like that, even in qualifying.
Exactly. Yeah, that's it. So it was a good run. Like there's nothing wrong with that run from Pignol, but we know he has more.
I was going to say, if it was anybody else, you'd be like, that's an awesome run. But knowing what
Yeah.
Marco typically does, you're like,
Yeah.
not quite his normal flair.
Yeah, that's it. So he put together a good run. Now it was basically up to the next two guys to make a mistake as to whether he would get to the final. So the system right now is there's two groups of 4 riders in the quali. The top 2 riders of each quali group go to the final. So right now, with that run, we can tell that he would be leading over Zapsa. 2 more guys coming up. What? Hang on, was that Indy to Indy, or was there
It looked
3 in
like
that?
3.
I wonder if that was 2 or 3.
It looked like it was 1, 2, 3.
Hang on, let's have a closer look on this one.
Let's see if I went back too far or not.
No, this should be it. What?
Nope.
Oh no,
See?
KOD flip.
And he
I
put
think
his
that's gone
levers
back into
away.
the run.
I definitely went back too far.
Maybe if you just do the. There we go.
All right, here, let's see what he's got here. Oh,
All
the
right, so this is
flatliner.
the
It's the
start
next
of the
one.
run. Yeah, that's fine. So I mean, that's not a bad flatliner. We saw the. Yeah, I think it was a seat grab first. So you can see there was the one flippy levy up there on that flat liner. For those of you looking at home, one, two,
There
yeah,
you
that's
go.
three indies, and it looked like he had time for a fourth.
That must have been next gen.
Yeah, that was next gen for sure.
All right, and without warning, we have Pat
Yeah,
Bowden
as
sent
you can
out.
see me, I was there commentating. I'm like, I had no idea that Pat had already started. He just got straight into that run.
Even for us judging, all of a sudden I was like, "Oh, here's Pat!"
That's it.
Right into a front flip, just a straight front flip.
And I don't think he had even done a front flip in training. I don't even think he'd even looked at that ramp. He spent most of his training just getting used to like getting the bike ready. Because that bike, oh my god, that's a massive ruler flip. His bike's been sitting in Europe for ages doing nothing. Like, I think it's 6 years since he probably rode it last.
Jesus,
Well, at least the night of the jumps. Maybe he rode a couple of other events, but anyway, he was getting that bike set up and running it in, and in training, yeah, he didn't have that much time.
big old 360 knack, dropping his
So,
leg down super far.
yeah. Now, with the 360 knack from Pat, I feel like sometimes I look at him like, yep, that's a three. And sometimes
Oh,
that's huge.
huge holy grab to rock solid indie, basically heart attack style.
Massive.
I know that's. I agree with the 360 thing. I do give him the 360 because he definitely tucked off of the face, which
Yeah,
I
exactly.
and he did get a pretty good rotation on it. It's
Got
not.
it flat.
It's not Luke Ackerman flat 360, but it is definitely not a backflip.
Yeah, exactly. So that's where I was like, okay, which one is it this time? Man, that's a big heart flip.
And
That's
such good
so big.
style, so smooth, and everything's huge and scorpioned out.
Now, the first two riders we've seen, and then you look at Pat for the energy, and I would say even for Pat, he went slow, but you could
Yeah.
tell there was a lot more energy in this run straight away. Like he meant what he was coming here to do. Oh man.
And a KOD front flip. You could see I don't even think he got as much out of it as he wanted, but
Yeah.
it was still huge.
Yeah. Yeah, again, the guy had no training on that ramp, and his second front flip was a KOD attempt. Like, we can at least say Superman front flip. Like, that's just wild.
But that's very Pat Bowden. I was helping Jason Rowe at some shows, and Pat showed up, and him and I can't think of his buddy from Europe as well. I can't think of his name,
Oh,
but
pausing.
who?
Pausing?
Yep,
Alex pausing?
exactly.
Yeah.
Dude, they jumped the ramp like once and then just started flipping it.
Yeah.
One of
Like,
them may not have even jumped it straight. Big old turn down. I'm like, what
but
is it? What is
in
going on with these
training,
guys?
actually, in training, his first jump was straight, his second jump was a flip.
Yeah, that's what they did.
Then that was the first day. On the second day, I may be wrong here, but I think his first jump was a three.
Yeah, that makes sense. Those guys are out of control.
Yeah.
In
That
control, but out of
Rocky.
control.
Yeah, exactly. That
Big flip.
Rocky Indy was huge. The cliff flip, man, everything in this run was just full extension. And this is only quali.
Yeah. And like you said, he hasn't even done a lot of that stuff in practice.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, clear 267 points. Like he's clearly in front. So this was Mark Pignol's problem right now. Libor came to jump the Tenaire or whatever it's called, the Dakar bike. So he's already done a kiss of death flip, but on 190 kilo Husqvarna. Now he has to like put his freestyle hat back on and go do a freestyle run and try and get through qualifying and into the final.
Well,
Pignol hasn't done his big thing.
this bike is so much lighter.
Yeah.
He's like,
Less, well, yeah, half the weight.
he's like, this is easy
Half the
now.
weight. Yeah. So I give 10 points already to Libor Podmol just to make the change.
Yeah.
And it wasn't that long ago that he did that husky flip. Like, you got to go back out the back, get your gear off, get ready, and then come out and send it.
Take your sleeves off.
Take your sleeves
Come
off.
back out. Heel clicker, Superman Indy.
Not too many guys go for the Indy, actually. More like him and Adelberg.
Yeah. Other than that, it's heel clicker to
Oh,
Superman. Super
yeah.
can flip. I always love that flip because super cans
Yeah.
are so awkward in themselves, but to do it in a flip has got to be next level.
That's it. And I still can only count like maybe 2 guys in the world who do that.
Yeah.
Maybe 3. Javier,
Yep.
Libor. Probably Adam Jones has done it, but I couldn't say for sure.
And I love this no knack where he jumps on the seat. He gets such good extension on it. I want to say it doesn't why can't I think of names this morning? French guy,
Oh, Ronaldo.
Ronaldo.
Yes. Okay, so that's 3 definite names. Out of all the freestyle riders, we
Yeah.
can only say 3 names of that who can do that trick. Which always tells you that maybe the thing's not that easy.
This is why I keep saying 360s need to be
More
judged higher.
more guys do double backflips than super can flips.
Yeah. And the underflip. The underflips are coming back a little bit. I have seen a couple other guys doing some underflips.
I'm digging it. I'm all about an underflip making a comeback. Like, just do it for style. Maybe it's not the biggest trick. Sorry, not the biggest point scoring trick, but for style, that one sets guys apart.
Yeah, for sure. And here we go for the double up. Let's see what Libor's got. No flip levers. He's going front flip.
Oh,
Nope. Heel clicker
Cliffy
flip. That's why he did not need his flip levers.
Yeah, that's it. And
But
that
that was
wasn't
huge.
a bad Cliffy.
Yeah.
Man, he was actually one of the first guys to do a cliffhanger flip. Like, minimum 10 years ago, probably 12, 13, 14 years ago, he was doing a Cliffy flip. But back then they were wild Cliffy flips.
Well, that was young,
right.
wild Libor.
That's it. So that was the first quali. The second quali starts at 1 hour, 12 minutes, 37.
Yep, I got your cheat sheet up here.
Oh, you got it there. All right. So here we go. Now, Alex Buchholz from Australia. He just flew in from Dubai, where he lives. So he's basically set himself up out there with the missus.
And you said it was a last minute
he
swap
was
there?
Yeah, exactly. There was normally we have a reserve rider. He couldn't make it. So Bucky came in as the reserve, and then unfortunately Davide Rossi crashed the afternoon before in training, and he was okay. Like he's nothing's broken, but he just had a bit of blood, I think, on the liver, bruising on the liver or something. So he's okay. And that was when actually Bucky came up to me at the end of training. He's like, I should probably get prepared for tomorrow, shouldn't I? I said, yeah, I think you're right. So Bucky, the last minute rider filling in for Davide Rossi, swinging a flip out. Now that ramp on the back side, I don't know if you guys have noticed or if you've noticed, but most riders weren't really going over there.
Yeah.
If they went to that side, it was for the front flip ramp because that ramp apparently sucked big time. It had a weird kick. Everyone hated it. But
There's
I know,
always
like
one.
Bucky said to me, actually, he's like, when it's a shit ramp, I'll just flip it. It's usually going to be better than trying to do like an upright trick on it.
Right.
And I never realized that. I don't know if you ever did that, but once he said it, a few other guys mentioned it as well. That if it's a shit ramp and you get a funny kick, you might as well flip it, and it
So I
usually works better.
did have some days at my riding spot where it was too windy to take your hands off, so I just did whips and flips for the afternoon. And
Yeah,
that was the
keep the
best.
bike straight.
Yeah, exactly. Those were like the best options. Here we go. Is that? No, that's the middle ramp. Nice one-handed flip, holding it off for a while, landing perfectly.
That's it. No, that was the middle ramp, but that was the Euro ramp. That wasn't the next gen.
Yeah, the propped one.
So that was the propped up one. Yeah, so we had 4 Euro ramps, and every single one of them was different. That was a bit of a pain in the backside for the guys, and unfortunately, Bucky
Did
had
not get
that
what he
problem.
wanted on that one.
No, exactly. So
You could see the hand motion.
yeah, he was going for it, and he's like, nope, pull out, which is the smarter option.
Always a smarter option if you don't have it going your way. So there you go.
Yeah,
First.
so I think this will be the double up.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think this will be the double up. So to finish his run out, what have we got?
Backflip knack
Oh,
knack.
nice. And actually with the leg over.
Yep.
Not a
Got
little,
all the way over.
Not a little sneaky 1 foot backflip.
Nope. Got it all the way over. Put it down on that side. Saving the best for last.
That's it. So with very little oh no, he's ridden across the grass. Oh God, Bucky, that's why we put down all the flooring the day before. Oh sorry. As building the whole setup and knowing how anal they were about that grass, just seeing him riding across, I'm like, oh, that triggers me. But that was a good knack. Good
Yeah.
knack.
Yeah. Soccer and cricket and all those fields, they are very, like you said, anal about the grass and getting onto it.
Yeah, nice little whip flip in the middle. Clearly, Bucky, the freestyle rider, not giving a fuck about the grass. Just whatever. They'll deal with it.
He took it easy though.
He did. It's not like he was on the start line or coming into a tight berm.
Yeah, he just cruised across there.
Yeah,
Didn't get the full double grab.
yeah.
Nice one-handed flip.
Now,
There
I
you go.
wonder on that one-hander flip, you could see his foot. Actually, there was a really good angle then to see his feet on the foot pegs, how locked in he was on that foot hook. I wonder if he was going like no-hander and he just decided, nah, it's not working, we'll go one.
Yeah.
But as quick as we think about that, this was the comeback. Actually, this was a pretty big moment. This is the comeback for Hannes Akerman, the older brother of our world champion, Luke Akerman. And Hannes is the older brother. He paved the way for the Akerman brothers, and he's been out of action. I'd say on a good part of 7 years, 8 years. Like he's come back a couple of times. He's had a really rough 8 years, and he's got a portiere in the middle. And I think he was only on the bike for maybe a couple of weeks.
Really? You said he had broken his back real bad?
Yeah, he'd broken his back in Munich 2015 or 16.
At a night
I
of the
think it was.
jumps?
Yeah. That sticky dirt that they used to have in Munich, and he threw the vault away, landed on his backside and broke his back pretty bad. And then I think he's got a brand new knee. He has a new knee replacement right now as well. We just saw an indie to indie backflip before. That looks sick. So after all those years of injury, the ups and a fair few downs, I was just really pumped actually to see him back. He's a really nice dude. He's one of the first guys that I met and rode with over here in Europe. Nice heart flip. And I actually bought my first, no, second. I bought my second KTM here in Europe off of Hannes. Um, but no, he's really, really good dude. Would help out anybody.
Nice cliffhanger. Getting full extension there. Yeah, he look like he's just a tiny bit tentative,
Yeah, yeah.
which is
It had been a
understandable.
while, like especially since doing a competition. He did do a show like only a couple of weeks before. It was his first show back. That was like the comeback, and that was at his brother. Like so, Luke Akerman has his own shows here in Europe. Um, so he rode that one, and a spot opened up, and we're like, "Hey, are you ready?" I would say seat grab Indy flip. Looks like he was ready.
Looks like he's ready. I was gonna say that was his double up. He's just, you can see he's happy to get through that,
Yeah,
be safe, have everything go well.
yeah, yeah. Not gonna lie, I was feeling for him because like I know what he's been through the last few years. So it was really good to see him kind of conquer those demons and just come out, lay down a run, big tricks in the middle of it, and ride out of there safely.
Yeah. Yep, absolutely. And he, like I said, looked a little tentative, but still had really good tricks, and deserves to be there for sure.
Yeah. All right. So we're gonna get some slow mos. No, they're gonna.
Yep.
Oh, there we go. All
There's
right.
the
Yeah, I
double
mean,
up.
seat grab Indy. Look good.
Yep. Big knack again, dropping it all the way down, pushing the bike out a little bit. Nice rock solid. Getting that clean, legs up, arms extended.
Oh, didn't get the click, but he definitely went for that portiere, the seat grab heel clicker that we
And
just saw like
yep.
Rob Adelberg doing a front flip like a few weeks back.
All right, we're now
Oh, hang on.
into.
Again, we've done it again where they we yeah, I thought I was talking about as I was doing the slow motion recap, and they kind of just spliced in Mate Chesak perfectly. And then I realized I'm like, that's a different bike.
Yeah.
And he's not slow motion. I'm like, hang on, this dude's already started.
So this was a little bit of my thing with his run as far as judging. There was a lot of pauses,
Yeah, there was, actually.
but that was a big old kiss of death Indian air flip.
So the rule change we made for Dresden, because it was such a big stadium, we just eliminated a time limit.
Yeah.
Because most guys anyway go as fast as they pretty much can.
Right.
But I think Mate was like the one guy who was like, you know what? I'm gonna have a little bit of a holiday out there and
Yeah.
just soak up the time, get everything in the right place. He was probably half treating this like it was a show. Like at a show, there's no stress. You kind of pump the crowd up as you just saw there. He's like, yeah, no time limit. Cool. Just do my tricks I need to do.
But I think as far as judging for a run, it looks like they're setting too much. You know what I mean? I like to see it when people are just like, not necessarily have to Travis Pastrana speed around the course, but keep a nice little flow in between.
Yeah, exactly. That's it. Like you want to make sure you've got everything, the flip lever's up or the foot hook's ready or your steering dampener's ready, whatever it is. But as long as you kind of keep slowly moving around. And again, this was another one. Like he's never this slow.
No,
Like at a night, like indoors with a time limit, like Mate would have finished his run by now.
for sure. And even those, I do kind of like when people, if there's two people that are close and somebody stops in the corner a bunch, like I would probably give it to the person that kept their flow most of the time.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
So that was a
So that
good
was a
front flip no
big,
hander.
yeah, and it was no-handed. It was hard to see on that angle, but it was no-handed. So hang on, that was his first front flip of the day.
Yep. Oh, really? Didn't even practice or anything?
I don't think so. So front flip straight into no hander, and it looks to me like. So this is the good thing about us doing this, like a couple of weeks later. I've forgotten the runs. Like this is all new to me again. But it looks to me like this is the front flip ramp again that he's going
Yeah.
towards foot hook in. Oh yeah, knack front flip. His first ever front flip with a knack.
Yep. And he, again, full knack. He didn't drop his leg down, but that's like kind of style preference, but he still got the leg fully over the seat.
Yeah, that's it. On a fronty. Yeah. Not bad. It was a good run. Like there was big tricks. He was chilling, and I don't know how it went with the judging. I don't remember what the scores were, but I felt like he probably needed that knack front flip to sneak past Hannes to get into the final.
Yeah.
I feel like Hannes didn't have the biggest tricks, but they were definitely big. Like seat grab India
That's a huge
flip was
now.
big.
Oh, that was his backflip. Yeah, that was a huge
Yeah.
knack flip.
I love that. That whipped out Indy into the bike and then double knack out. Looks cool. So I feel like Hannes was almost close to making it to the final, but Mate just had enough variety.
Well, and a couple of
Um,
bigger things.
yeah, that's it. Like how many guys are doing a lazy boy flip? Not that many.
Not that many.
Um,
And especially good ones.
no, exactly. Good front flip, no hands, like fully extended with the hands off.
And here comes the younger brother of Hannes.
Yeah. So only 15 points the difference from Mate to Hannes. So it's not a big difference. Like if you average that out over three judges,
Right.
what's that? Five points each. Not a big difference. But yeah, so for Hannes, the only way he would get to the final would be if his younger brother Luke had a big mistake, and that does not really happen anymore. I can't remember the last time Luke made a mistake.
That's funny because in the beginning of his career, he was like, go for broke,
Oh yeah.
was going to have big crashes. He was going to be
He
entertaining, but there might be a
yeah.
big crash in there.
Yeah, he was running on about a 50% average of even making it through the event. Like it was I mean, as the name of his show goes and like his motto is go big or go home. That's how he started but yeah, like Luke's cleaned everything up. He is definitely the professional that it took him a few years. Like he's only 24, 20
Really?
maybe.
What did he show up when he was 15 or something?
Yeah, well, he had the youngest backflip at one point at Night of the Jumps. I think he was 12 years old at the time with his
Wow.
first ever backflip. So he's like he feels like Luke's a veteran, but he's still just a young guy. Like
Yeah.
he's got 15 years left in his tank if he wants to ride this hard for that long.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah, that's crazy. I didn't realize he was that young still. Like I said, I feel
yeah.
like I've been seeing him around forever.
Good question. You take care of this. I'm gonna Google. How old is Luke Akerman? Um,
All right, Luke pumping the crowd, getting ready for his run. Right here. Let's see. He's got the flip levers up. Big, as always, KOD flip out of Luke. And again, for big dudes like that, it's very impressive. He can scorpion anything out. Here we go, coming into the second one, pulling a little wheelie there. Big holy grab, floating all the way back. Feet end up, pointed up towards the sky, which is always a nice touch on any of those, especially let go tricks.
whoa, he was flying then.
Flying, front flip, one-hander. And like I said, he's not taking a break, not wave to the crowd, nothing. He's just all business here. Holy shit, dude. Heel clicker to gigantic kiss of death flip.
The kiss of death on that is bigger than I've ever done, and he'd already done a heel clicker before he got to it.
Dude, and he was so late that he was like this instead of being like upside down. He was like
Yeah,
flat out looking
flat.
straight down at the ground.
Yeah, and that was off a regular ramp. That's not next gen. That was regular ramp. That's probably the biggest heel clicker to super flip ever.
I wouldn't doubt it. Then he did a nice looked like he was going no hand to lander, but to the airbag he bailed out. Huge 360, flattest in the business.
That's the money shot. All right, so Google tells me I'm wrong. He's 27, so there's 3 years I forgot. They're in the COVID years. I forgot about those years. So 27 years old. He's still got 15 years at 27. Like that gets him to 42. And I've like Libor's 40. Good question next. What's Libor?
I think he's
40?
40. That's what he said. And the double flip, of course. That first one, he whipped it a little bit. The bike kind of shot out, but then he tamed the beast, brought it around smoothly. I mean, how many double
That's
flips
it.
has this kid done at this point?
Oh, so many. Look at the
Look, I
crowd.
was just
Just
going to say that.
man. He had him eating out the palm of his hand.
He gets extra points just for getting the crowd that hype.
41 years old, Libor Podmol.
Oh, he is.
So Libor's got what, 14 years on him. That is insane.
All right, 2 hours 20 minutes. We have
All right, so
Go ahead,
yeah,
explain this, because I don't
yeah.
even know what that is.
All right, so this is Eddie Fresh. And that bike there is called a Simpson. I think that's an S51. Pretty sure that's the S51 model. Um, and this bike was made big time back in the old former Eastern Germany in the DDR. So this was like the bike of choice back then. And funnily enough, like the way German road, like get your licensing laws are over here, young kids are still riding these 40-year-old bikes because the power is so low, or the CCs, I think it's only a 50cc bike, but all the kids can ride these to school from like the age of 15 or 16 years old. So they can ride to school. So you got just all these young kids getting around on little two smokers, 40-year-old bikes, and you can tell this guy's not a bad rider. That's not a bad wheelie on a 50cc 40-year-old bike.
Yeah. So they're all old? They don't make them now?
No. Like the last ones would have been, well, the wall came down 30 years ago, something like that, 1991. And here we go. Simpson, just to make the jump. Like, I think the ramp there must have been about 30 foot, maximum 30 foot. I don't even know if it was that.
It almost looks...
And
Did they have to
yeah,
jockey that ramp around after Libor flipped
yeah,
it?
yeah, exactly. So they pushed it in a bit after Libor flipped it. And Eddie, I didn't realize this. This dude's not bad. He's like two-time super motard champion of Germany. He's a hell of a motocross racer. He rides just about anything and everything, as you can tell, riding on this thing. And here he goes. This is going to be the world's first Simpson backflip. Pulls it nicely. Actually over-rotated it.
My whole thing with that is the exhaust goes underneath. So how dangerous is this for that airbag?
One, on the airbag. Two, does the exhaust like catch on the ramp like when the suspension bottoms out? Does the exhaust act like a rail nearly? But yeah, you're right. Exhaust goes under. Yeah, I'm pretty sure though it's not a stock S51. I'm pretty sure.
Oh, no.
I feel like he might have done a little bit of work to that thing. So that was, I mean, he went for the flip. He didn't get it. And Andy Brevy just kind of giving him a pat on the back like, come on, man, you got to go land one. Like you didn't come to Dresden to not land a flip. Let's see this thing get
Did you
done.
see he was adjusting his bars? Like his bars spun in the mounts.
Oh, did they?
Yeah, he was just pulling them
I
back and then hit them back forward.
Oh, at least he's got. Are they pro tapers? At least he's put some good bars
Yeah,
on.
he doesn't have the
All right.
40-year-old stock bars.
40-year-old Simpson backflip. Perfect.
Perfect. Pulled it
That
right
is
around.
how you get the job done. And again, I didn't know who he was until this weekend. He had just the video he put up of that, he's got to 430,000 views or something. Like he's a pretty big deal over here in Germany. So
Awesome.
it was sick that he got the job done at night of the jumps on the Simpsons. So yeah, full respect to that.
And now the reason Marco Pignol was a little bit distracted.
Yeah,
He's going to
this
basically
was insane.
got a scissor lift. Looks like jacked up all the way. There's a tiny bit of an extension on there. Not as much as, not enough for my liking. But, but there is a little bit of an extension and a very
That's
small
it.
ramp at the end.
Yeah, the tiniest of ramps on the end of it. So this was the biggest we could get for this venue. It was 12 meters high. Mark actually was training for something to go like he was going higher, but I think at this point the record was 10 meters by Kai Haza. Pignol had done this. I think it's 7 or 8 meters in Berlin Night of the Jumps like 5 years ago, something like that. But this ramp or the scissor lift at 12 meters high, he was 13 and a half meters away from the landing.
Wow.
And I was actually very surprised how far away he was. And look, you can see he's got like 3 bike lengths
Yeah.
maximum of space up there. So there was a couple of things that he told me before this happened. One, the wind. Like you can see there, it is moving a little bit, but he also was going to move that thing. It's starting to rock a little bit,
Yeah. You
but
can
it's
see
all
just
about
when he
clutch.
does that. Look at how much it's
Yeah.
going.
Yeah.
Just look how stoked he is, dude. Just barely pulled that thing around.
That
Nose
was so
heavy,
good.
just on the knuckle.
Yeah, he just made it over that knuckle. And he was telling me like it's basically give it full gas and hope you clutch at the right time. Because obviously there's 2 parts to the clutch. You need to clutch it enough that you get power to the ground to make the distance, but you need to clutch it enough to like get the drive to make the backflip happen.
Yeah.
And I saw at least one video that he was training on at home in Spain where it didn't work and he landed fully upside down in the foam pit because he got the drive but he didn't get the flip. So he had to do both and screw that. Like
Yeah.
it's just insane.
And in the amount of time where like only 3 bike lengths, he has to get his feet onto the peg, set it, worry about accelerating, then try to pull.
Exactly.
There's a lot
Yeah.
going on in a very short amount of time.
Yeah, that's it. So, no, big respect for Pignol. That's the reason why he was a little bit distracted in his quali run because he had that one coming up. So that's the record at 12 meters high. He wants to go higher. So we'll just have to organize another scissor lift at another event, I think.
Yeah, get a big one this time, okay? All right, so here we go.
All right.
First up in the finals, Mate Chezak.
So it was just enough for Mate to get over Hannes Akerman to get into this final. And I think Mate had already won Best Whip by now. I think it was a battle between him and
Bowden.
Pat Bowden. So for a hot day, it was stinking hot there in Dresden. and it felt like the sun was just like beating into that soccer stadium, and it was like the heat just sat in there. I I can't really explain it, but it felt way hotter than it should have been.
Yeah.
Um, but for these boys to come back out and do this final, like there was a lot of riding.
Well, you're not getting any breeze there because it's a solid
That's it.
stadium. You know, maybe the
Yeah,
tunnels a little bit.
and whatever breeze you do get, it's just going to be hot air anyway.
Yeah. Big, we'll go heart attack flip. It's kind of in between. It was like a half attack.
Kind of in the middle, yeah.
Half attack. That's what we call that.
half attack, half attack. Mate Chesak. It wasn't bad. You could tell what he was going for, but he just didn't get the extension.
Yeah.
I think same on that double grab. I don't think I've ever seen him do a double grab like that before.
Yeah, they're usually much higher.
Yeah.
Here you go, setting his foot hook up. Heel shifting. The Euro guys love heel shifting.
Man, they do, don't they? Did
All
you ever
day.
heel shift?
Bit like maybe trying every once in a while, but not like these guys do. Like every time they roll out, they're heel shifting.
Yeah. Yeah, I've tried it once or twice. I'm like, nah. That's what I got a toe for. That's why they
Yeah.
designed the gear lever to be in front of your heel, not behind.
Seat bounce into the no knack Indian Air. I had on starts a little bit so that you don't have to get your foot onto the peg before you hit the next gear. But again, I don't think I did that much either.
Yeah.
Nice big KOD flip Indian Air.
Yeah,
KOD
that was
Indy
good.
flip. However you want to say that.
It's almost something like, you know how he seat bounced in? Like, even that part there, there's not that many guys. Like, when he did the whipped out Indy seat bounce, there's not that many dudes who actually do that. So, those little parts, I know it's not going to change really the judging, but there's just like these little finer points that Mate has over some of these other guys. Like, he just has a few extra skills that he can bring out, and it just makes his run look a little bit more interesting.
You know, that's true. Like with the seat bounce stuff, it should probably be judged better. Because I don't know. It's like, is that just their technique or is it like an added variable?
Um, I'd say it's both. Like it took me a long time to get the balls to seat bounce any jump.
Yeah.
Like, just to do the first one, and then to do it with a trick, and then to go to a new ramp and do it. Uh, it it's like doing it's not like doing a flip, but when you go somewhere, you just kind of have to trust the process. Like, if you're sitting in the right position and you seat bounce it, it should work. All right, nice no-handed front flip, perfect rotation, landed it perfect. Um, yeah, I just feel like sometimes like they're not. It's not a big thing. You're not going to give it 10 points for a seat bounce, but it's just something to maybe, when you got to split hairs,
Yeah.
who has the extra. Like, even on the lazy boy flip he did before, he did the lazy flip and then just like looked out at the end towards the judges, just to have that body awareness or the air awareness.
Yeah.
Everyone
Not
kind of
get
just wants to bang
disoriented.
their yeah, everyone wants to bang their trick out. Nice. Actually, that knack fronty was better than the first one.
Yeah.
So
I
that was
feel
cool.
like the knack almost helps it. Swinging your leg up like that.
Yeah,
It gives you a
yeah,
little bit of extra.
yeah. That's true.
So was the ramp nobody liked Luke's because it's going to his landing?
No, it's his landing, but it's Night of the Jumps ramp. But it was an
Got it.
old ramp. Like, because we had this big event, we had more ramps than we ever have. And so they Tia found this old 8 meter in the back of the storage, and he's like, "Well, we need ramps. Let's bring it on back."
Yep.
Yeah, but that's the difference with, I guess, building ramps 20 years ago. I don't know how old that ramp is, but it's not a new one. Put it that way. And no one liked it.
Here we go with Libor Podmal's run in the finals. Got his flip levers up to start. I didn't realize he had purple rims and everything on that bike. It's looking
Oh
pretty
yeah,
sick.
he's him and his brother Philip have tricked out their bikes big time for 2025. They're they got their color schemes and they're going for it. There
Oh,
we
there you
go.
go.
Super
Nice big
can
super
flip
can
again.
flip.
Yeah, and same like a couple of the other boys, like Mate doing best whip. So at this point now, Libor's done the Dakar flip, quali. He did synchro. Um, who did he do synchro with? Maybe with
Chezak?
Mate.
Yeah, I think so.
Maybe, yeah. And now he's in the final. So this is his fourth time back. So he was actually planning to do best whip as well. And I gave him a small reprieve. I'm like, all right, let's just put Bucky into best whip and give Libor a break. Otherwise, he would have done the most amount of riding for the whole weekend. And
Yeah.
he's 41 years old. I mean, we got to give the guy a bit of a rest.
Huge kiss of
Huge
death flip.
KOD. Yep.
But he's used to riding across the desert for days now, so.
Oh, well then what? Yeah, because he was no, he wasn't moaning at me, but he definitely put the guilt trip on. He's like, man, what else do you want me to do in this show? Like, do you want me to do like build the ramps? Do you want me to build the landings? Like, I'm doing everything else. I'm like, yeah, okay, you can have a break.
That was a nice C grab Indy, 2 rock solid.
Oh, big indie to indie flip as well.
Yeah. No, he came with it here for the final for sure.
Yeah, that was sick. Like, this is a good run.
Nice switchblade backflip invented by
Yeah.
Greg Hartman.
Oh yeah, man, that's like 2005
I don't know, it was something like that. It was X
time.
Games China.
Yeah, exactly. I remember that one. Big underflip. Oh man, I'm glad you've got the history books out.
Well,
I
I
remember that
was
one.
close with Hartman, so that's why I know that.
Yeah.
And I want to say that the Sea Crab Indy to Rock Solid was actually invented by Scott Hanlon because he used to do those all the time. And then that was a big like East Coast trick. And if you ever saw Travis do it, it was because we were at his house and Hanlon was doing them. And then and
Really?
Travis saw it, and that's why he started doing them.
Huh. Big cliffy flip. So I
I was
think that
pumped on that
finishes
one.
the run. That's the double up, I think. Man, Scotty Hanlon, there's a name I have not heard in a long time.
So rest in peace, Scotty. He actually passed away
Oh,
a couple of years ago.
oh, sorry, I didn't
But
know that.
no, that's you know, is what it is at this point. But
Man.
he, dude, he had such good pop and could just float above his bike and do anything he wanted. It was really impressive, sea crab
Ah.
wise.
So like that Dustin Miller, Mike Mason kind of ability just to hang above and get whatever they want done.
Dude, I used to laugh like he could just like tap the bike wherever he wanted to. I feel like he was just like could
That's
just float
crazy.
above it. A nice
Yeah, so this was
clicker to Indy flip.
yeah, this was a good run from Libor. Like super can, as we said, and full extension. Like he's not gonna like get his legs out any bigger than that.
No. No, and like throwing it over to the side like that, like I said, must turn the bike a bit off axis. There's no way that it
Yeah,
can't.
that's it.
Huge kiss of death flip, fully extended.
Yeah, he must be like, man, the bike's half the weight. KOD flip on a Yamaha. This is easy.
Yeah, especially a two-stroker. It's like,
Man, the Indy to Indy was big as well. Was that a regular ramp Indy to Indy as well?
I think
I think
so.
it
I
was the
don't.
regular ramp.
Yeah,
And they weren't small indies. Like some guys do them, you know, little bit hesitant. They were big.
he's in the pilot's chair, hot seat,
That's it.
or
Yeah.
whatever that is.
Yeah, no, it's either an American fighter jet or maybe a Russian fighter jet pilot seat. We've got two of them. And again, Tia, the man pushing Mate's bike there in the bottom of your like the bottom left-hand corner of the screen. He found those hot seats.
That's awesome. All right, so next up in the final, this is where the big battle comes through. Pat Bowden. And then next up is Luke Akerman.
Yeah, this was always going to be a big battle. Like, we know how good Pat rides. But I'd say at Night of the Jumps competition, he's never really put everything together. There's always been like a small mistake here, or if he was putting it all together, like I remember he crashed a Cali roll once, like when he probably could have won it, and he crashed on the last jump. Um, but it's been 6 years since we saw Pat at Night of the Jumps. He's matured a lot, and he's also got some massive tricks now.
Massive tricks. That was a huge kiss of death flip, holding it out there. I would say the only one, especially at Night of the Jumps, that holds it out any further is the guy that's going next.
Yeah, that's it.
Big old 360 knack, dropping the leg down.
Did that look like he was about to go the Euro ramp and then he changed his mind? He's like,
Kind of did
actually
look
going to go
like,
next gen.
yeah, kind of did look like he was turning in there. Nice heart attack flip.
Even better than the first.
Yeah, it does seem like the first one he was testing out a bunch of stuff he hadn't done yet.
Yeah.
And now in the final, he's like,
Yeah.
okay, we're good.
Yeah, you're probably right, actually.
I think he was like, okay, we're going to do a kiss of, or a heart flip. Okay, that worked out all right. And then in the final, he's like, all right, we're doing full ones.
Yeah, we're going to go for everything big now.
Next gen
Oh my God.
with a big cliffhanger flip. Or that's a Christ air, technically.
Yeah.
Invented by Jimmy Maguire.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that was massive. Like, no one does that trick like Pat at all. Rode over flip.
A bit deep.
Oh.
Taking her
Yeah.
deep. Look. It
Oh.
was like
I didn't realize he did that in the run, but I'd be patting my heart as well, going, God damn, that was big. Oh, it's so big.
Holy
Holy
grab
grab.
to rock solid indie. Basically heart attacked out.
Yeah. Now, how many guys can do that as well?
Yeah, not
Like
very
to
many.
get the heart motion on a rocky indie, that's already hard, and he wholly grabbed into it.
Yeah,
Like, God damn.
exactly. Another guy with amazing pop. Huge
And this
kiss
was in
of
the
death
run.
front flip.
In the run, he threw that tsunami front flip.
And about as big, like we said in the first one, he kind of was a little tentative. And that one, he got his arms and shoulders and everything fully extended, got his head through.
That's it. And I thought that was like the end of the run. I wasn't even counting tricks.
Rock solid flip in his run.
Yeah.
Not even the double up.
Oh my God. Like, and it was, again, that was not a small rock solid flip.
No.
That was pretty big. So, rode over flip, almost nobody does. The 360 knack, almost nobody does. The rocky flip, huge. And this
Holy
was the double
grab,
up.
2 rock solid indie
Yeah.
heart attack style. I mean, yeah.
And the front flip tsunami, he said he hadn't even done one in 8 years. So, like, the dude's just, I don't know. He's on another level. Like, he's that, what do you call it? Like an unstable genius? Like, it's just, when he puts that helmet on, like, this is just so wild. So this is the double up. And he's going towards that super kicker. Whew. I bet
Messing
there
with
was a
his
few
shifter.
nerves going on here.
Way off of the run in. Like,
Man. I wonder what it was going through his head like, fuck, 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 go!
And then pulls the
And
double
clean as a whistle.
perfectly.
Clean.
All right, we're going to have to skip right to Luke's run because I got to get out of here.
Yeah, no, that's not a worry at all. That was one of the best runs, like trick for trick in a run. I think I can remember at Night of the Jumps in a very, very long time. I'd
Dude,
have to go back and think of maybe like Clinton Moore when he first blew everyone away with a vault and a 360 and all that sort of stuff. But we're talking 15 years ago. Maybe Danny Torres or I don't know. Like it's a long time since I remember a run being that full of different tricks.
yeah, at this point, I'm like, Luke has his work cut out for him. But in typical Luke fashion, he steps it up.
Yep. Yeah, I think like this was I'd say the first time in probably 5 years, 6 years maybe, that somebody has genuinely pressured Luke.
No, you could tell he was like, okay. And it was exciting for me just being like, all right, is Luke going to step it up? Hell yes,
Yeah.
he is.
Is he gonna step it up or does he buckle under the pressure
Yeah, it's
or
like, does he do the
like
exact same run he's been doing? Because that no longer is going to cut it right now with the run Pat just put down.
that's it. So he did start with that tsunami backflip, ruler flip. That's I think on that ramp, probably one of the biggest that anyone's ever done off the regular ramp. Fronty
But it's a straight fronting.
was that what? Yeah, but that was a straight fronty, wasn't it?
Yeah. And
And
off of the
in his
actuated
quali
ramp.
run, yeah, and in his quali run, that was a tricked
Well, I
front
think
flip.
he adds it later.
Yeah,
But again, I think if he had done the front flip off of the next gen, that
yep,
would have brought him a little bit, a little bit closer. It would have made my job a little harder there.
yeah, that's it.
Big.
Big heart Indy.
Well, let's go helicopter Indy. Heart attack
Yeah.
Indian Air, basically.
And
And you,
he's cutting the run up short, going over the grass, mind you.
yeah.
so, so I don't know what the penalty is. Maybe about $5,000 penalty for riding on the grass.
But no point deduction.
No point deduction from the judges. That's good. Huge 360, just like normal. But look, have you noticed how much deeper every jump is he's going? Like, I
Yeah.
felt like that was the part that I'm like, okay, Luke's like really working with the pressure a bit.
Yeah.
And he was just going that little bit deeper. He was going for it.
No, you could tell he was excited and like, okay. Now this is in his run, heading at the super kicker for a
Yeah, he
double
just,
flip.
hang on. Yeah, he just pinned it across the grass.
Dude, he did like went across like 5 spots of grass to get over to that super kicker.
Yeah. And that was in his run before the double up.
Right, this is straight runs still. And he does a double flip. Now comes out. There you go. No-handed front flip off of the actuated ramp though. Not
That's
like
it.
I'm talking
Now,
crap. It's just
isn't
saying.
I think this is kind of cool. Like the flow isn't the same as the other riders, but Luke has just done the only thing or the only rider who's done it, and that's actually to change the program of the ramps. Like
Yeah.
instead of doing the figure of eight over and over and over, like he went, no, I want to pin it to that ramp and get this one particular trick done, and he did it a couple of times. So I thought that was kind of
Now
cool.
I
We
believe
saw
this
something
is
a
his
bit
double
different.
up. Yeah. Double
Oh,
flip, knack
man,
knack, full knack knack in the first rotation of his double flip.
into the second rotation. Like he
Yeah.
held that for a long time.
Um there you go, more grass wreckage.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure when soccer players do that, they're going on the skin of their knees, not a pair of O'Neill pants, like digging it up with knee braces
Yeah,
under.
and steel toes on your boots.
And steel caps on his boots.
So there
Yeah.
you go. That was
So that was tough, man. Like the double flip with the longest knack I think I've ever seen. Um, there was only one thing that could have probably saved Luke, and that would have been that next gen front flip, like you said. That was
Yeah.
a good knack.
Yeah.
That was good.
Look how crooked it made him.
Yeah. And watch how deep he goes on this double. That is a meter before flat ground.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was huge.
Great shoulders for a big guy. That was good. Legs real high, especially after going holy grab. And this is
Yeah.
the first front flip in his run that was just a straight. I mean, I think that needed to be either just off
A
of the
trick.
next gen or be exactly a trick front flip.
Yeah. But he did tell me that he just wasn't feeling the next gen that whole, well, not the whole weekend. They had actually had very little training.
I was gonna say he didn't
Like,
use it very much.
no, so he said he wasn't really feeling that ramp. In training, I saw him line it up for a front flip like 10, 15 times, but he just didn't feel it. So,
And that 360, he looked back for like 2 seconds.
yeah. Yeah, well, because he went so deep on it, he had like an extra 2 seconds of airtime as well, I think.
But
So I
you
think like Pat.
think that
Sorry?
has to slow down your rotation.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. This was tough. Like, I'm glad again that I wasn't you as a judge. I could just be the guy speaking shit on a microphone. Um,
Once he
but
started
between
doing that, I was like, oh no.
yeah, yeah, I think at the end of the day, I'm happy with those results. I think Pat well and truly deserved it, even though Luke brought like the double flip combo. I feel like for the whole run, and even Luke basically knew it as well. Like Pat had a fantastic run. It was so good.
Yeah. No, that was an awesome final with those two guys. And yeah, it was good to see Pat back. And I'm interested. Is Pat coming back to the next one? Do you know yet?
I don't know yet. That is a discussion. That is a discussion right now, actually. So,
Because I
go
would
for it.
imagine either way, Luke is probably stepping some stuff up, in case that does
Yeah,
happen. So I'd be interested to see what Luke comes with next time.
that's it. Well, Pat actually was only booked 2 weeks before this event. So he was still on, like, I think the Freestyle Kings tour in Australia. And he signed the contract, yeah, 2 weeks earlier. So he's like, yeah, I'll make it happen. I'll get there. Because we didn't even know if he was going to get flights over. Like
Yeah.
it was all pretty last minute, and he was trying to figure out how he would do it with his bike and the van. They were all down in Spain.
Probably
Piniol brought his
visas and
bike up.
everything.
Yeah, all of that sort of stuff. So Pat was last minute. Bucky was last minute. It was not the best coming in for a few of the guys, but again, like, I don't know, the feeling that I had watching Pat ride, that was just it was just like this an electric feeling that you don't always get at these competitions. And it was
Yeah.
just good to get that again. Like, finally there was that feeling. And I think, like you said, coming into the next round is October 4th. We're in Budapest in Hungary. First time, at least the first time I've been there for Night of the Jumps. And I'm sure Luke will come with something.
Yeah. I would
I don't
imagine
know if
so.
Pat will be there. We will see if he can make it. Um, Actually, I'll have to dig out the riders list very soon.
Get him in there
There's
so
still,
that Luke doesn't do all this training for nothing.
yeah, that's it. Yeah, because we I mean, how good is it though? Like when you finally see, like, Luke was pushed and he brought it. Like, he didn't back down from the challenge.
No,
He
I
turned
was
up. He sent it. I would say there was only like a couple of little things that he probably wish he could go back and change, but
yeah.
it is what it is. But you know that Luke could have actually taken the win. Like,
Yeah. No, but he had not had that much pressure in a long time, and
yeah,
he'd done very, very similar runs for a long time. So that's
yeah,
why as soon as Pat did that, I was like, okay, let's see what Luke can do. And
that's
like
it.
a champion, like the badass
Yeah,
that he is, he stepped it up,
yeah,
and
that's it.
made it a nail biter for sure.
Yeah, I think the last time I saw Luke do that he was pushed, I think it was when he was battling Michael Malero for his first world championship title, and he did a knack in a double flip in China, and it was so out of control. It was only a small knack, but he got the job done, and I don't know if he's done it very many times since. So I can't imagine he was working on that trick leading into this event. Like
Right.
he was probably figuring out next gen front flips and other things. And then, oh shoot, Pat Bowden's just stepped it up and he came with the goods. It was just not enough.
Yeah. I think variety Pat won on.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah,
with
exactly.
the rock solid flip and then front flip and double flip and
Yeah.
360s. So he had the same big tricks as Luke with the 360s and the front flips and stuff and the double flip. But then he also had the rock solid. He had the cliffhanger flip. He had a couple
The
of other things.
tsunami on the front flip.
Yeah, exactly. So
Like
that was
it was
what
just that little, yeah.
time.
Not, and it's not even it was little. Like a tsunami front flip's massive,
Right.
but
And he rode a
it,
lot of ramps where
yeah.
Luke didn't use the next gen as much.
No, exactly. He's kind of skipped it to go back over to that other ramp that
Which
everyone
st-
hated.
which still pulling stuff off of the 75 comp ramps, is still really impressive for him to do some of the things that he did off of those ramps and not utilizing the next gen, which gives you more time.
Yeah, exactly. That's it. All right, man. I think we're well over
Yeah, we're
your
good.
time. You
I
got to
am
get to work, don't
super late to work, so
you? Damn it. Sorry about that, buddy. But
no worries. That
no,
was
thank you
me
very much
trying to get a run in this
for.
morning, so that's my fault.
There's the problem.
Too
Thanks
much,
for
too many
organizing all of
things.
this, and thanks for judging Night of the Jumps because I'm glad I wasn't doing it. That was not an easy one.
It was fun, but it was like also, oh man, I'm really gonna have to think about this one. But
Yeah,
all
that's
right,
it.
guys, thank you guys for watching, and yeah, leave your comments. Do you think Pat? Keep commenting that Pat should be in next Night of the Jumps, so we can pressure these guys into it.
Boss, just pressuring me. Thank you.
There's
Awesome.
Steve's fault if Pat does not show up at the next one. Here's who you gotta blame.
Oh, damn it. Yeah.
All right,
My
guys, we're
email
out of
is
here. Yeah.
clint@clintesposito.com.
Good luck with that one. No.
All right.
All right, later,
Thanks,
guys.
guys.